A 12-gauge shotgun. Yeah, I'd seen it before. Serena was reacting because about a month before Wayne Pruitt, after raping the Vallejo girl, had been killed by a shotgun blast. He had it at the station in his Chevy, the 49 Coupe. Where you work? Yep. How'd he know that? How'd you know that? I buy gas. I've seen you around. Why did he carry it? Showing off, scaring people. Then Sereno got a funny look on his face. Were you and Chuy good friends? No, not good friends. But you'd seen the shotgun. Like I said, at the station, and that night at Sunrose. You never picked it up, never touched it? No. Why? You never want to ask a DA or lawyer a question. They'll just keep talking. But it was there that night, he said. I was tired of farting around. Yeah, I was under the car when Chuy was waving the shotgun at two white dudes, chewing them out about racial shit. I told him how Chuy lectured them about jobs and equal rights and all the stuff the Chooks bitched about. Then there was a pause, and behind me, behind the car I was under, the cops shouted at Chuy through a bullhorn to drop the gun. They didn't wait, though. They just shot him. Then I told Sereno everything I'd seen, everything that I saw Draper and Tremor do after the shooting of Chuy, which made Sereno pretty nervous. He called a secretary to write it all down, top to bottom, and then he looked real worried, thanked me a bunch of times. We were about finished, but I'd been nervous myself, not thinking straight. How do you know I was there? I asked. When you're a kid, you think grown-ups know everything. Then you grow up and find out they don't. Sereno didn't have to answer. Only one way he could know. That's okay, I said. I know it was Jean told you. Sereno didn't deny it. Yeah, it was Jean dragged me into this shitstorm. If he had just kept his trap shut, they'd all have thought Chuy drew down on the cops first. Everything moved pretty fast after that. Sereno was the assistant DA, but had a hard-on for the top spot. Draper and Tremor were in the paper now all the time, facing charges for obstructing justice and lying about the evidence. Not murder, because Chuy was half pointing the shotgun at two white punks. Still, the trial itself took forever to get going. Richland didn't have many big-time crimes, and they wanted to practice on this one, make it a big deal, keep it in the papers, compete for attention with Kennedy's assassination and the civil rights and race prejudice stuff going around. And the cops' lawyers, two useless shysters named Adams and Van Pelt, took about 6 centuries to get their defense ready because, first, Chuy was stone-cold dead, and second, he was shot by Draper's and Tremor's guns. Also, I told Sereno about the cops running up the smoke screen about the shotgun, which he'd bring out in court. Before the trial started, Sereno and Old Man Fisher, the main DA, about to retire, had me in their office about 100 times, nailing down what I'd say. Then the judge and jury finally pulled their thumbs out of their butts, and it all started. You'd think they'd get right down to the important shit, but no. First they had the coroner tell everybody that, surprise, Chuy was dead, killed by Draper's and Tremor's guns. Revelation of the century. The cop's lawyer asked a lot of kiss-ass questions about angles and positions, trying to make Chuy look guilty. Did it make any difference? Probably not. Didn't everybody in that courtroom come in already decided? After the coroner, I was next, and plenty nervous. Still in high school, I'd missed a lot of classes, Sereno coaching me. I kept quiet around town about testifying, but some kids knew, thought I was Mr. Big Shot. My sister said I was crazy for getting involved, and the old man basically checked out and told me to be careful. My best bud Jean had the most to say, arguing to me that the cops killed Chuy without reason and planted evidence so they'd look like heroes. I had to testify, he said, fight the good fight. If he hadn't told Sereno I knew something, hadn't needled me about going through with the trial, but had split town with me like we'd planned all our lives, then we'd be living somewheres like Argentina or Arabia or Tanganyika instead of how it turned out. None of this was easy to figure out. Sure, Chuy held a shotgun on two white dudes, warning them about what was changing, same as some chooks had done to Wayne Pruitt down along the river. But he was killed later by a shotgun, so Draper and Tremor, coming on the scene at the Sunrose rumble, could have figured Chuy had been that shooter. But before they found out what they found out, They'd already shot him down like a dog. He was a badass Pachuco, but Chuy wasn't a dog. Of course, Gene was the harder part for me, the cause of all my problems. Like that movie about a jury, with boneheaded Henry Fonda convincing everyone they were wrong and he was right. Like Gene. Before the trial started, I wish I'd had enough brains to talk to someone, maybe Gene's father, about how it was going to change me and my life. Maybe I would have been better prepared for what happened. But when you're young, you never see the shit coming. After the coroner, Sereno got me up there in front of the world to tell it all over again. Edward, would you please describe for the court, the judge and jury, what you saw that night at the Sunrose packing plant? Just in your own words. Looking at Sereno now, I saw a different man, posing, flashing his wingtips and Italian tie, greedy for recognition and power. With his smiley mouth and hair tonic, he swiveled back and forth to check out his impression on the jury and the reporters. Everybody was eyeballing me, too, in my white shirt and tab collar, narrow red tie, and an argyle cardigan from J.C. Penney's. But the looks I was getting made me feel like a derelict, like a tramp or something. Sereno turned towards me, seeing I was fidgety. Of course you're nervous, Eddie. Just take it slow. He said it so I'd relax. Fat chance. Were you in the Sunrose plant on the night in question? Yes, sir. Did you see Jesus Muro there? Yes, sir. Where was he? Standing between some cars. What was he doing? Holding a shotgun, giving orders to two other chooks. Me saying chooks pissed Sereno off. Like I said, it was short for Pachuco. Sorry, Mexicans. He was talking to two other Spanish-speaking youths. Spanish-speaking youths, yes, sir. How far away were you? About twice as far as me to you. Then about 20 feet, I guess. In your own words, please. About 20 feet. Go on. Little by little, Sereno dragged it out of me. Two other Spanish-speaking youths left, but one came running back, chased by two white youths. I told the jury what I'd told Sereno in his office, how Chuy lectured the two Patties. He told them to go back and tell everybody they knew, the white folks in town, that the Mexicans, the Spanish-speaking people, weren't going to take the guff anymore. White people always telling them what to do, where to work, where to live. I was just quoting a dead guy, but this was going to earn me a ton of shit. Sereno asked, clear and quiet, and then what happened, Eddie? I looked around at the judge, a nasty-looking antique named McGill, steely gray, with a face like an axe blade. I glanced over at the jury and then the courtroom. Tremor and Draper were glaring at me. Jean was behind them in the second row. The cop shot him, I said. This brought pandemonium, people moaning and groaning, the judge's hammer banging away, and the cops, lawyers yelling all over the place. After getting them quiet again, the judge spoke to me, talking in a voice that matched his face. Edward, we don't want you to tell us what you think happened, but what you actually saw. You understand? Oh, I understood. What I understood was that everybody there except Jean would have been a whole lot happier if I hadn't seen shit or said shit and just gone away. Yes, sir, I said.